Hey guys, in the next set of videos that I'm going to produce will be on the muscular system. Specifically, this first video that we're going to look at is the basic overview or just an introduction into the musculoskeletal system, and then we will go from there and look at more of the specifics as we go on. So stay tuned, let's watch this. When we hear the word muscle, most people tend to think of skeletal muscles, those muscles that attach to the bone and move the body. In fact, muscles are found throughout your entire body. Okay, they account for 40 to 50% of your body weight, so that's a pretty significant amount that we're looking at. And there are three different types of categories or three different types of muscles that we're going to look at. So let's come over here and let's look at your three different types. We have skeletal. Now let me erase that. Let me just do this one again. That was really bad. So let's do skeletal. That looks really jerky. We've got smooth, and then we are going to have, this is just really not working well for me today. So we have skeletal, smooth, and cardiac, okay? The handful of videos that we're going to produce right now will primarily focus in on skeletal muscle. When we look at the other two categories, smooth and cardiac, we'll address them a little bit on these set of videos, but when we're into the cardiovascular system, we'll look at the heart, and then smooth muscle we'll look at more so when we deal with the intestinal system, your GI tract, okay? So let's look at the very basics of here. Your skeletal muscles, in this case, what we're looking at, these attach to bones. Whoops. They attach to bones and allow for movement. Now, all muscles can deal with movement to some extent, but when we're looking at skeletal muscle, we're focusing primarily on the muscles that move the bones. So I'm going to draw kind of an arrow here. So it allows for movement of the bones, okay? We'll get into all the other functions here briefly. Smooth muscle are found within, let's say, organs of your body, okay? So this is going to be looking at blood vessels. It can be look at your intestines, and it controls movement of material within or throughout the body. Cardiac muscle is going to be associated with the heart, okay? And this is basically a pump, and it pumps blood throughout the body. So it pumps blood into the blood vessels. Blood vessels are made up of smooth muscle, and that allows for the regulation of fluid throughout the body. So those are your basic three categories of muscle. Okay, so let's look at function here. And this is function of, let me put a skeletal muscle. I use MM as an abbreviation for muscle. I do that quite frequently. So let's look at the primary functions of skeletal muscle, and this is going to be for body movement. Okay, body movement, skeletal muscle attached to bones, and when the skeletal muscle contracts, it pulls on the bone and allowing for movement. So this can be walking, it can be talking, initiating your swallowing. So when you swallow, that's skeletal muscle that initiates that. Facial expressions. One of the common facial expressions that I get is total confusion from students in class, just their glazed look. They can be happy where you smile, they can be sad, frowning. All of those are skeletal muscles. Breathing, okay? Breathing is also associated with skeletal muscles. They are to maintain posture. So this is maintaining posture. So your trunk, your pelvis, your legs, your head and neck, okay? All of these have to be maintained to, or to be controlled to maintain your posture. So when you're walking, what's preventing you from falling to the left or to the right? Certain muscles are contracting or relaxing to help that upright position. As you're sitting in your chair watching this, your head is supposed to be on top of your shoulders, paying attention, not laying on the desk in front of you, okay? Maintaining this 8 to 10 pound bowling ball on top of your neck requires the contraction of certain muscles to maintain its position. Another function of your skeletal muscle system is going to be protection. And let me do support on this one. We know from our previous videos when we talked about the skeletal system that bones can protect structures. Your skull is protecting your brain. Your rib cage is protecting your heart and lungs. Your pelvis is protecting reproductive organs, okay? In the case of our abdomen, we don't have bony structure up front. What we do have, we have 3 layers of muscle that overlap each other, and then those muscles protect the contents of the abdomen. The supporting function, think of the pelvic floor, okay? So you have your pelvis and you have some muscles that line the bottom of this that help to support everything above that, okay? So protection and support is another function of skeletal muscle. We have, where are we at? We have regulate, that's actually an R, regulate elimination of waste. Okay, so in order for substances to move through the body, food, okay, and what regulates that from leaving the body are muscles or sphincters of muscles that you can relax, which allows for the passage of waste. So this would be bowel movements, or this could be urine, okay? So we've all been in the situation where you've been on a long car ride and you really got to go. Well, you can consciously control one of those sphincters to remain contracted or to remain closed, which then prevents the elimination, okay? It's only when the time is appropriate after potty training. It's only at that time that you can relax those muscles to then allow for the elimination. The last part here, there we go, heat production. Okay, muscles are essentially an engine, okay? Muscles can contract, and we'll talk about the various characteristics of muscles here shortly, but muscles can contract, and it allows for the movement. Well, when they contract and muscles are doing that function, it produces heat, just like the engine of your car. So if you were to turn the engine on your car, let it run for a few seconds, turn it off, and then touch the engine, you'll feel that it's warm. Anybody who has exercised, okay, you can touch the body. So if you're working your legs or working your arms and you touch that muscle, you can feel that it's warm. When muscles contract, it's an engine, it generates heat. When you go through winter, and if you were to go outside without wearing a coat on in the middle of the winter, what's one of the first things that you start to do? You start to shiver. That shivering generates heat to help warm up the body. So heat production is another function of your skeletal system. The next video, what we're going to do, we're going to look at the various characteristics of skeletal muscle, and then we'll go into the specific structure of muscle from that point on. So see you in a minute.